Hey guys, Josh from Spartan Reptiles here, and this is another video I wanted to make to kind of let you guys know who I am and what I'm all about, and how I got into the ball pythons and wanting to breed them and making it a life hobby goal, etc. Um, Honestly, I mean, I didn't start out the way everybody else did. I started off with the fear of snakes. I mean, I was always intrigued of them, not really scared of them, but I mean, I was always that one kid in school that would never want to hold them or even touch them. And lo and behold, later on in life as an adult, I had a roommate that had a red-tailed boa, and he moved. He left while I was at work one day, and he left a snake behind. And as an animal lover, I took it upon myself to take care of this animal, which was his red-tailed boa that he left behind. And from there, I endured having to deal with mites with her, and having to feed her and take care of her, clean her cage, so forth and so on. And I I got into the ball pythons late, not very long after that. I want to say about 6 months later. I went into a reptile store where I met a awesome family. Gordon and his daughter Tyla, which I did mention in a previous video. Gordon's no longer with us. Uh, I started going in. I started asking questions. I really wanted to learn about the animals, and I started looking at ball pythons, and I love the thing that drew me to them was their heads. I mean, a lot of people don't look at a ball python head, and I just loved how alien it looked. I mean, it was just the shape of the head to me intrigued me, and I was kind of hooked at that point. So I went on from there, and I kept going in there every week as I'd buy, feeder rats for the red tailboa that I was raising, and she was doing good at this time. After going to a vet, getting the mites taken care of, and learning how to take care of a boa, uh, I decided I wanted to jump into ball pythons. And then, I bought my first ball python, and she was an African import. I had a breeder in Colorado that was willing to help me out with that, and the first picture he sent me of her was just, I was astonished. I mean, she was very, very gold looking in her pattern. Um, I like to say she was 24 karat gold, like somebody actually plated her pattern with gold. She was gorgeous. And I kept that snake for years. And I even had that snake when I moved to Montana. It was the only snake that I didn't keep from the collection that I had in Colorado. Um, in Colorado, I did have a pretty diverse group of ball pythons, boas, retics, Burmese pythons, and I mean, I sometimes regret making the move to Montana and losing everything that I had down there. But then again, it was for the best. I mean, with everything that was going on political wise, with the reptile industry at the time, it wasn't functional for me to bring them up here. So I chose one out of my entire collection, and I brought the original female ball python that I purchased, and I brought her to Montana. And I had her for several years up here, and she eventually succumbed to death, which is unfortunate because I really, really wanted to breed her, and just things didn't pan out to where I could. And I really think there might have been something special with her. I don't think she was just a normal ball python. I think there was something really with her genetically that could have proved out in the long run that could have been, a great aspect to our hobby and our industry nowadays. Uh, but that being said, I did, wait several years before I decided to get back into it. And my wife currently that I'm with, uh, I kept telling her, I really want another snake. I really want another snake. And she asked me, well, what do you want? And I was like, I want a ball python. So we went and we bought a ball python, we bought a pastel, and that was the beginning of it all right there. Um, she supported me in my hobby and she supported my passion that I had for the animals. And so we went and bought the pastel. It wasn't even a couple weeks later, I made an order and I bought a lesser platinum from a local breeder up here in Montana. And at the same time, I bought a cinnamon het genetic stripe. Unfortunately, that one had some problems. Um, he was doing really good at first, and then after a couple of vet visits, we found out he was blind. And then a second vet visit, excuse me, proved that his heat receptive pits didn't work. So he was really in a bad way. Um, I had to force feed him and even assist feed him until he just he gave up. And it's unfortunate. I was really looking forward to working with him, but I mean, things happen. So it is what it is. Uh, Shortly after that, I added more and more to my collection. We moved to a new location in Montana. We bought a house in Libby, Montana, and that's really where it all really begins. Man, because I mean, the pastel, the lesser, and the cinnamon genetic stripe were, the first three that I got. When I wanted to get back into it, and we even went as far as adding several different mutations to our collection. Um, we had 5 inches that we bought, a pastel Mojave that we bought. I did have a black pastel het pied. Unfortunately, when she was in quarantine, we had something major happen, and our Malamute actually got a hold of her cord that went through her heating element, and we lost her. Um, Unfortunate, yes, it was. Was I upset? Absolutely. I mean, because who doesn't like a panda pied? Um, so from there, I ended up adding a pastel pied and several of the morphs. And if you follow my channel, you know what I have in my collection today, and even kind of have an insight on what's going on, what I'm going to add to the collection currently. Um, I want to stay small at the moment, so really, I'm 16 snakes away from my goal target as far as what I want in my collection. Um, as far as what I want to breed genetically. Um, After that after I hit that minimum, those will all be incorporated into the projects that I'm currently working with, and there's going to be a ton of holdbacks that I am going to hold and grow out, and I'm going to use them for future breeding projects. Um, the project that I didn't really want to talk about from Justin Kabolka, I am ready to talk about, and it has been proven at least a dominant gene. Justin and I both agree that there may be a possible of a super form, so this could be a co-dominant gene. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this genetic trait that I got from Justin, and I'm going to incorporate it into some other things that I have in my collection currently, and I'm also going to keep line breeding this genetic trait to actually confirm or find out whether it's just a dominant trait or a co-dom. Uh, at this point, it is definitely not a recessive trait. So, that being said, nobody's got to worry about anything there. I do want to really try to prove out that it is a co-dominant trait. So I am going to take my time with this group. And as the breeding projects progress with those that I bought from Justin, I will, inform you guys. I'll let you follow up on those. I will actually show you the pairings. I'll show you the cutting of the eggs, and kind of fulfill you, with that part of the aspect. Um, until I decide, or even with Justin's help, we decide that this is a dominant or co-dominant trait. Um, this project's really not going to be available to anybody, unfortunately, as much as I would like for it to be, but it does need more work, and it needs some more time to actually really fulfill its goals and its guidelines. And I really hope you guys all appreciate that. And I mean, from there, I mean, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight on me. Uh, I'm not new to the industry. I'm just recently new to actually breeding for, as a hobbyist. I did have an extensive collection before. I had pastels, I had pieds, I had cinnamons, I had black pastels, I had pewters, um, bumblebees, spiders. I mean, I had a lot of stuff, several years ago that, would have contemplated as a very good variety in a collection. And it was a life choice that made me sell that collection off and decide to go the route that I did with my wife currently. And, it's been a life goal of ours to always come to Montana. And with everything that was going on with all the politics with reptiles and breeders, Burmese pythons, stuff like that, I just felt it was safer to sell my collection off. And like I said in a previous video, if you've watched every one of my videos all the way through, everybody knows I sold my entire collection to Gordon and Tyler. And they were great people. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting a hold of when they bought the animals from me. Unfortunately, Gordon, passed away. Tyler's still alive and well. And, she's not really into the breeding the animals for, to make money or anything like that. She does it just as a passion. And that I can't tell you that I don't agree with. I mean, because really the money is secondary to the animals. And, if you're loving the animal and the passion of the animal comes first, there's nothing wrong with making money with them. And so there you have it. That's a little bit more about me. If you guys have any questions or comments that you want to, you want more information about me, feel free to drop your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll be happy to get in touch with you. And, I'm into this as a whole to really make this hobby a much stronger unity. And I want this community so much stronger than it has been. So, again, for me here, Josh at Smart Reptiles, and Bella, which is right behind me, keep on herping.